Hi, Miss Jean here again. We're still in Boston, and today we're in beautiful Boston Common. Now, if you remember last time, we heard about a famous tea party, and not the kind with china saucers and little sandwiches. During this tea party, over 200 years ago, a group of men threw the tea from a ship into Boston Harbor. Now, the British weren't happy about the Tea Party. They continued to pass laws for the colonists, and arguments and violence erupted here in Boston and throughout the colonies. The British government shut down the port in Boston, which meant that no ships could come or go for selling or buying anything. But following the Tea Party, the British government took away Massachusetts colonies' right to self-government. So the colonists decided to do something about this. Representatives from each of the 13 colonies formed their own form of government, the first Continental Congress. Now, these men met secretly in the town of Concord. They didn't want the British government knowing what they were doing, or the British troops. Now, many of the British troops, or soldiers, they lived right here in Boston Common. Some stayed in Boston families' houses with them, whether the families wanted them to stay with them or not. Now, eventually, the British government heard about the colonists creating their very own government, and they couldn't let them get away with this. Troops that were camped right here, well, they were told about the plan. They would march to Concord and stop the colonists. They would put an end to this Continental Congress. Now, some colonists heard about the plan too. The British were going to attack at Concord in the morning, and so 3 men hopped on their horses and they rode through the night to warn everyone in Concord. Paul Revere, William Dawes, and Dr. Samuel Prescott rode into Concord warning that danger was coming. The next day, the British troops left from here and they arrived in Concord. But the colonists were ready. The Battle of Lexington and Concord began in April of 1775. It was the first battle of the American Revolution. Now, during the years of the battle that followed, the colonists often felt that God was on their side, that God had a plan for a new nation here. The battles were often difficult, they didn't always win, but there was good evidence that God was on their side. Well, join us again here next week, where we'll visit another historic site here in Boston, and we'll see evidence that God was with the colonists. In that battle particularly, there was no doubt. See you next time for part 3 of this story of the beginnings of America.